was watching this show on TV called Once Upon a Time. It comes on ABC on Sundays. My son is going through all the episodes. I couldn't watch it. It was too slow for me. Very convoluted. But they did something really brilliant. And it's the kind of thing that I would have done if I was writing the show. Fairy tale world that kind of spills over into the real world, and the characters in the fairy tale world actually living in the real world, struggling with each other in the real world, as well as in the fairy tale world. It's kind of a strange idea. So there's two dimensions, different dimensions interacting. Characters in the fairy tale dimension actually come alive in the real world. So in this fairy tale of Snow White, the Wicked Witch wants to give her this apple that's poisoned. In the TV show, they wrote it really, really interestingly, because this woman who controls this town, who is actually the witch, wants to compromise somebody, and she enlists another person that works with her to take this apple and get the person to eat the apple. And the person says, "You just want me to give them this apple?" And the witch says, "It's not just an apple, it's a weapon." And bingo, that is brilliant. It's not just an apple, it's a weapon. So we talk about ISIS and Hamas and Al-Qaeda. We talk about terrorists. What's their main purpose in life? Their main purpose in life is to destroy and kill people. So those people are pretty obvious about what they're out there doing and what their intent is. The Palestinians versus the Jews. They just want to kill every Jew. Jews want to live in peace. Palestinians want to kill them. So you ask yourself, you look at the world and say, why can't we all just get along? But the answer is very simple. The answer is, we can't, because of something that wants us to kill each other. I don't think it's you that wants to kill another person, ever. But it's something in you that wants you to kill another person, and yourself. So when the suicide bombers say, not a murderer, a martyr, they really believe that. They really believe that killing themselves in the act of killing other people is a very noble act. And we're not talking about the Spartans here, who, by the way, were the most formidable fighting force in the history of the world. And that their belief was that to give your life on the battlefield was the highest glory. So they weren't afraid of death. They looked forward to it. If they fought a battle and they got through it was like, okay, we'll just go back and fight another battle till we get killed. Fighting for their families, fighting for their country, fighting for their freedom. But the world that we live in today, we don't have any Spartans left anymore. There are some, and there are many of them who are in the military are those kinds of people that are like Spartans, because they're fighting for freedom. They're fighting against evil. But the rest of us in this world, honestly, I have to tell you, I have a hard time getting up every day and going about my everyday life, knowing that the world is full of crazy people that want to kill me and that want to kill each other. And they're just waiting for an opportunity to come into our world and try to kill as many of us as they can. Why do you think the world is after the children now? With sex education, beginning in kindergarten.
To corrupt?
They want that shield to come down.
Yeah, it's very clear
And once that shield comes down, they become converted to the side of the enemy.
Yes.
Like the drug dealer. Here, this one's free. Really? Thanks. So now, I want you to understand, the other aspect of this is very interesting, because have you ever seen kids playing with these remote-controlled RC cars? Have to understand something, is that, and I think we understand this fundamentally, that there are only two actual forces in the universe, and that is good and evil. Evil is an infinitely lesser force. It's infinitely lesser force, except for when it has control of you. And the temptation, it's all weaponized. Everything, all the things that you react to, the food you put in your mouth, the images that you react to when you see them on TV, the ideas that form in your mind. Understand that once this protective shield has come down, your very mind itself is vulnerable to subtle influence. Anybody in here not been infected by the weapon, the weaponized apple? You could call it anything you want. Everything in this world has been weaponized. And it's weaponized so that it affects you and it cripples you. And it really is designed to put out your light. What did Jesus say about that? As a man thinketh, so is he. Every single thing is a weapon to destroy the soul of man. Now, Jesus came along and said, know the truth, and it will make you free. So we come back to the fundamental question, what is the truth? The first truth is this, that we have all been compromised. We've actually been co-opted by the enemy. We've eaten that weaponized apple. It's done something to us. We've lost something. Do you know what we've lost? Think about it.
We've lost our souls
Well, not yet.
in the process.
You've lost the protective shield of innocence that you had as a child. Your very mind is vulnerable to subtle influence. That's why I tell my kids, I don't want you watching crazy cartoons. I don't want you watching any television commercials, period. Because television commercials are weaponized. They want you to do something. They program you. Same with these insane cartoons. When I was kids, it was Mighty Mouse and Donald Duck, and it was. But even then, Walt Disney had the wherewithal to show the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. It's like, here we are. Which one are we going to listen to? It was always the dilemma. But now there's no angel. Angel's all gone. Good has been redefined. Good is no longer good. Good is now compromise. Good used to be, I stand up for what I believe is right to my death. Stand for what I believe, Christian values. But now, you have to understand every single thing in this world that we're dealing with right at this point in our life. And this has happened too, by the way, many times throughout history. This is the most modern platform that they have because they have instantaneous access to you. But there's one thing that they know, one interesting thing that they know, and that is they know that there's something that's like them in all of us. There's a self-destruct mechanism. And that we've eaten the apple. And so the weapon has been activated. The weapon, whatever it is, hate. What's the saying? Hating someone is like drinking poison and expecting it to kill them. Greed, envy, lust. Talk about the 7 deadly sins. There's probably 70 or 75 or 7,500. I don't know. But they have their basis in certain core principles, I guess you would say, or anti-principles. So here's your problem. Okay, you've all eaten the apple. The apple's a weapon. And every time you react and you get upset, or every time you become selfish and ambitious, or any of the things that you can imagine or that you can think of that keep you from doing what you were actually brought here to do, well, we can also talk about that, because the question is, what are we here for? What are you here for?